Oh, all right, dude. We are live. We are live. I want to start the show off by saying welcome to the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Masano. I'm here with my brother, Tommy Masano, and I'm here with our other brother from another mother in a totally different time and space and place in the cul-de-sac, T-Money's Theron. And I want to jump in and say that this is the start of season 4, episode 1 of the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast. Could not have done it without all of the fans, all of the folks that have been supporting the show. Season 3 was really a very slim pickings year. Only about 3 or 4 episodes were done. Lots of transition and changes. But season 4, things are coming new. We are taking after our favorite promotions. We're going live. So on this episode of the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast, we're kicking off a new season, season 4. We're all about innovation here at the Bros Before Elbows, going live, taking after our favorite sports entertainment promotions. This episode, we're talking about health and wellness, specifically that of Paige, and we discuss the notion of favoritism in relationships. To freak or not to freak, Lesnar versus Goldberg. How relevant is the IC title and the US title? Are the title holders adding or taking away value? Ellsworth out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere. Is this the breath of fresh air that we need to take away from this circus of an election season? So...
All right, this is Tommy. I gotta get to the topic. So we gotta talk about the debate tonight, dude. I mean, the debate just ended like 20 minutes ago. I mean, that is like the biggest thing in our country. We should touch on that, dude.
I didn't watch the debate. I didn't even watch it. I haven't watched any debates. I don't care. I tuned in for 5 seconds. I heard Donald Trump say that Hillary Clinton was ruin this country and that her and Barack Obama were the same person and that he was going to change the lives of Latinos and Black people. But I'm going to go on. No, I'm not going to do it. I was going to pull a Kanye West and say George Bush doesn't like Black people. I'm not going to do that because I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. And that's your right. I respect your right to do what you want to do as an American citizen. I absolutely agree with that. I just want to say that it's a circus that I don't know whether or not life is real anymore. In terms of like, I just can't really wrap my head around exactly everything. It's a very challenging position to be a citizen at this point, but at the same token, that challenge instills in me a personal motivation to thoroughly increase my knowledge of being a good citizen. So understanding more of my right, not so much an obligation or a duty, but my right to vote and to better educate my own worldview and to strengthen my own worldview and to get better, bigger perspectives from multiple sources, not just one. I think if there's one thing this election has opened my eyes to is that there's a lot of media sources. There's a lot of garbage that's on the internet, a lot of garbage writers and a lot of garbage information. And it's if you truly consume garbage, that's what you put out. So I've made an active effort to read more peer-related articles, more bigger perspectives of different news agencies and such. So what I'm getting at is this election, although it is very challenging and very kind of a very arduous path to take, it has motivated me personally to become a better person and to become better educated and more aware of not only my rights as a citizen, but also how I can be a better influence and better example as a citizen.
Okay. Everything you said is the complete opposite on my end. It has motivated me to become a worse citizen and it turned me into a worse person. This is a dumpster fire versus a tire fire. And it completely motivated me to not read the internet, not seek out more information, just hide in my closet and play Xbox and watch wrestling.
And that's your right to do that. Everybody's, and I love that we're all exercising diversity. That's good.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
walk a flock of flame for president because his vice president is going to be Ric Flair. That's his.
Okay. I support that. So why not? Dude? I mean, If Donald Trump can make it this far, why not Waka Flocka Flame or
You're
whatever?
right. Why not Waka Flocka Flame right now? You know, I
why
mean,
not Mr. Peanut?
what? Hey,
Mr.
yeah.
Peanut.
As a matter of fact, shout out Peanut. Check out Peanut Live 215 on YouTube. And when you're on YouTube, you go check us out because we're streaming live right now. That's Bros Before Elbows. You can check either one out. You can actually follow us on Twitter, Bros Before the number 4 Elbows, or you can check out Peanut Live on Twitter at Peanut Live 215. I got you, Peanut.
All right,
Exactly.
crazy. All right, let's jump in. It's season 4, episode 1 of the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast. We talked about that health and wellness, so let's jump or slightly ease into the pool of health and wellness, specifically Paige's injury in the story that's writing itself. Tommy, let's start with you. What are your thoughts?
Man, I'm really out of the loop. Our last show was 35 days ago. I maybe watched like wrestling one of those days. Like I'm like in the single digits amount of hours I probably watched wrestling since our last episode. But this Paige thing is kind of crazy. I don't know. Like she proposed to Alberto Del Rio, and they're like getting married now. And Del Rio's been, I think, fired since the last time recorded. And I don't know what is going on. I don't know how she's gonna like. She's got off suspension, then she got resuspended, and she's had neck surgery. So I don't know what's going on. This is like, it seems like it's a train that's going to actually run into something, and it's going to run in, and then Paige and the WB are going to separate. I just don't see how this relationship is going to work since her new husband is such at odds with the WB right now. It's kind of reminds me of AJ Lee and CM Punk. Like she lasted a little bit after CM Punk walked away, but then she kind of phased herself out of it. So I think that's kind of the path Paige is going to go down, which is kind of sad because she's so young and she had so much potential within this company.
Theron, what do you think?
I've been watching wrestling and I've been keeping up with this story, and you know, with the whole neck surgery and the first suspension that happened, which was like, I think that happened like the last time we recorded this show. That was odd to me because she was like leaving, but then she wasn't leaving anymore and everything was cool. Then she gets suspended again. Now it's for like 2 months. And they're saying like it wasn't whatever she said it was, a prescribed drug, but it wasn't this prescribed drug. They won't tell you what the drug is. You know, she's with Alberto Del Rio. She proposed to him at like was that storyline, or was that like real though? Like, did she really propose to him? Like that really happened? I saw the picture.
I think that was like at a local like Mexican show that he was wrestling on. So I'm pretty sure
that was a local Mexican show. Was that in Rocky Point? Is that where that happened?
Man, yeah, I don't know, man. Don Julio's. Shout out.
Oh my! I don't know what to make of their situation. I feel like you said, I feel like what's gonna happen. I mean, Del Rio's done. Unlike CM Punk, he's still wrestling. He's supposedly going to try to get in with ROH and maybe TNA if they can survive past January. So we'll see. I mean, supposedly now she wants to leave, but her contract, it's funny. He was on TMZ with her and he said something like, oh, her contract's for like 600 more days or 700 more days or 700 years. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if she comes back, they're probably just going to bury her because of all this nonsense that's going on. So
that's actually kind of a valid point.
Mm-hmm.
Because they ultimately write her storyline. I put in our production notes here the story that's writing itself, because it's just kind of odd. Every couple of days something new is coming out. As you mentioned, you know, she got in trouble for taking prescription medicine, then it's not prescription medicine. Something kind of similar happened to Adam Rose, where he was being treated for ADD and he somehow suspended the wellness policy. Like and speaking about the wellness policy too, I mean, I get it that they want to protect their wrestlers, obviously, for their health, but it just seems like it just doesn't seem as regulated as they want you to believe it is. I just think there's just a lot of holes in it, and I don't know enough about it to really speak deeply into it, but it just seems screwy. And that Paige's dad is getting involved, and then just the whole, again, it's just a story that's writing itself. And then she proposes to Del Rio, and obviously that relationship is not
it's so weird, man. That I mean, it's not. I mean, no, it's like 2016, but it's still kind of weird when the girl proposes to the guy. I'm sorry, dude.
That is really strange in and of itself. Like,
Yeah.
why is she proposing to him? Like, then you wonder, like, what's the seriousness of this relationship? Then in the back of your mind, you're like, is this all just like a super storyline? But it's actually real. Like, Del Rio, never got along with WWE even during his first run. People didn't like him. And now all of a sudden, Paige is starting to have her issues. I don't know if that's just because she's really young. She's only like 24. Or if it's part of like this whole thing to just make her look like this bad person. And then like they bring her back and, who knows what's going to happen. But the wellness policy, I've never understood it. Like,
Yeah,
they've enforced it here, then they've like not enforced it here. So Brock Lesnar gets caught by the UFC, no punishment, right? Like, he gets popped for steroids. Oh, it's cool, no big deal. Vince McMahon clearly takes steroids. There's no way that he's like 65, 70 years old and he's that jacked up. John Cena, who knows, right? These guys are like humongous. And then it's like they release the stories that they want you to hear, but then they kind of hold back on some. So it's just a whole big mess to me.
Yeah, it seems really confusing. The other thing too, the next topic is Del Rio's marriage. Like, I read somewhere on Cage Side. Go check out CageSideSeats.com. Excellent source for wrestling news and up to date. They had an article on there talking about that Del Rio, I guess, is still married. I could totally be asking the wrong question here, but that's what I believe I have read. I
thought, yeah, I think that's what his wife is. Yeah, his ex-wife said that. Like, they're still married. I mean, they're still going through like a divorce. So they're like separated. They've been separated for like, I think since May 2015 or something like that, or maybe it's this year 2000.
No, it was this year. The controversy was it was sometime when he started dating Paige. They just got separated. So it's one of those crazy love triangles, even though his wife's not involved with wrestling at all. Maybe she is. I don't know.
So this is just breaking tradition left and right in terms of a man not proposing to a woman, traditionally done, and then traditionally still freaking abiding by your vows that you had said in a community and or legally binding judge to whatever state that you're in that you are still married. That, I don't know. Again, you can't write this stuff. It's writing itself.
A Mexican aristocrat, rules don't apply to him.
Oh man, the freaking who is his manager for a long time? Something Rodriguez.
Zeb Coulter. Zeb Coulter was his manager.
No, not that guy.
No, Ricardo.
The guy before
Ricardo Rodriguez.
Ricardo. Yeah, what happened to that guy?
He got fired.
He's Matanza.
He's who?
Yeah, he's not Matanza. He's the monster Matanza.
No, he's not. He's not that
underground. He's Mil Muertes.
No, he's no. I don't know what he's doing these days. That's just a weird situation. And then their whole relationship is like frowned upon. But then like you see like John Cena and Nikki Bella, which is now being like played out on TV all of a sudden.
Yeah, they get their own TV show about it.
Well, they have their own TV show. They have Total Bellas. They had Total Divas. And now the WWE is using their relationship and storyline on SmackDown because Nikki's feuding with Carmella, and Carmella comes out, and her whole reason for this feud has been that Nikki stole her spotlight at SummerSlam. Now it's turned into Nikki's a spoiled little brat and she's needy, and John Cena's her boyfriend, so she gets whatever she wants on SmackDown. And that was her whole big reason. Everyone's like, we already knew that, like that's on TV. And then she like shows like this little video vignette, and Nikki's like, watch, it looks bad, like it makes Nikki really look like a spoiled little brat though, like so
John's kind of an a-hole, dude. John Cena's an a-hole on that show.
Is he?
He's
really?
Pretty cold-hearted, yeah. He's kind of
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I mean, he seems like sometimes seems like a cool guy, but yeah, he seems like really like into his like his ways of doing things. He's not really like, flexible kind of dude. I don't know. He's kind of weird.
Green juice and baby carrots.
Wasn't he married when he like got caught up? Didn't he get divorced because he cheated with Mickie James or somebody?
Whoa!
Oh,
sad. Breaking news. I don't know.
You might just broke the internet. I thought that's what happened. I don't know. I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. It was either Mickie James or
He was married. He was married. Yeah, he was married. And that's why he said on Total Diva, that's why he doesn't want to get remarried. That's why he doesn't want to marry Nikki Bella, because he had such a bad experience with his last marriage.
Oh, he just wants to be a WWE pimp. He just wants that. He wants to out pimp CM Punk. That's what it is.
How to out for a pimp. Exactly. I don't know the rest of the words, but no, crazy. But it's very interesting to see that there are specific relationships that are a-okay, yet Paige and Del Rio it just can't happen. That the organization won't let it happen.
I think that's Triple H though, right? He doesn't I don't think he's ever liked Alberto Del Rio. Like, he's just had it out for him his whole career that he's been there. And he was even like trying to pump, like, tell Paige, like, hey, like, you know, or tell whoever, like, we need to split them up. Like, they can't be on the same brand. Like, I don't like it. I don't know. What were you gonna say, Tommy? My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I didn't even know what. I was just. I even saw on Facebook someone took like a screenshot of Paige's dad saying, "I don't approve of my daughter marrying that man." I don't. I guess he like maybe I don't know if he deleted it or I don't even know the name of her dad, but I saw it like floating around Twitter too. So
I saw that on CageSideSeats.com.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah. So I mean, I think it's kind of like it seems like the WWE is trying to keep Paige and Alberto Del Rio separate because like Del Rio is kind of like a bad influence on Paige. And then not to like speculate even further, but like some of the pictures that I've seen of Paige, she looks like a little skinnier or a little like she's been partying a little too much. I don't know. She doesn't look as like healthy as she has when she first arrived on the scene, when she was in NXT or when she's even on like Total Diva. She looks kind of like a little like, I don't know, like she's dropped some weight, which is pure speculation. But hey, it's a podcast. Let's speculate.
Alberto El Patron is like Pablo Escobar, and she's like his little side chick, like Tata, and he's just like giving her a bunch of cocaine. Mexican cocaine? Pure?
Wow, dude.
Off the rails. Off the lines. No.
This show has gotten uncensored. I don't know what just happened.
Oh my god. Moving forward. Let's move forward here. The next topic was to freak or not to freak. That is the question. Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. This has been building since the announcement of 2K17, where if you did your early pre-sale, you got to play as the character Goldberg. So they've been building this ever since the launch of 2K16. It feels like. But he's back. He's Goldberg is back.
I'm so underwhelmed, dude. It's like it's
agreed.
I am. I try to get like everyone. I feel bad because like everyone on Cage side, it's like two different things. Everyone on Cage side seems to be like all into it. Everyone in the comment section is like super pumped for it. Then I go on Twitter and everyone just like bashing Goldberg like repeatedly, and I was like, where do I fall in this? But I kind of he's really old, dude. He hasn't wrestled in like 12, 14 years. He's not like Sting, who was active during that time when he left in TNA and kept himself in good shape and wrestling shape. This is Goldberg, who completely left the business after WrestleMania 20, I think. So that's 12, 13 years ago. And he just has not been anything to do with wrestling since then, dude. It's just like, and he just walks back in. He gets a feud with Brock Lesnar, dude. Like the biggest, like maybe the star, most highest paid guy WWE has. Like, I just don't understand. He looks so old. He just looks so like small. I mean, he's just like, he was never good on the mic either, man. I just cannot. Never was a big Goldberg fan. Like back in the 90s, I always liked Stone Cold and like Sting, Hollywood Hogan, and Kevin Nash and The Rock and all the Mankind. So Goldberg was like not even in my top 10 back in the 90s. So now that he came back, I'm just not into it. Yeah,
not freaking out. Not freaking out at all. Theron, you freaking? No. T-Money?
No. Honestly, look. This is why we need to be part of WWE Creative. You need to hire us because we have way cooler ways to bring in storylines. Back at SummerSlam, when Brock Lesnar was it SummerSlam? Yeah, that was SummerSlam. When Brock Lesnar destroyed Randy Orton and beat him in my mind, I said, who's gonna fight this dude because he's beating everybody else, and I was like, it'd be cool if like Goldberg came back like out of nowhere. I think they were chanting for Goldberg to come back that night, but he didn't come back. I was like, if he comes back right now, the pop will be huge. He like gets in there, Lesnar backs off, and then they can build towards the match. No, they didn't do it that way. They announced the game, then they made him a playable character. Then like he shows up on Raw on Monday, and he's not Goldberg that I remember. He was just like this big, like he's trying to be a superhero now. Like he's like talking, and when does he ever cut a promo? Did he cut promos in WCW? The only thing he ever said was "You're next."
Mm-hmm.
Now he's like talking about being a superhero to the kids. He almost cried, which that didn't make him look good. And then he's like carrying kids around on his shoulder. I'm like, yo, if he would have just came out and said, "I'm Goldberg, Lesnar, you're next," boom, done. That's it. That'd have been way cooler. But he didn't do that.
He tried to build it up on ESPN. That was the announcement. So the
ESPN.
I think it was ESPN, right?
I'm an old school wrestling fan. I don't want to see you on ESPN. You don't look like a badass on ESPN. You look like a badass when you come out of your locker room. You walk through the little. He did that too. You walk through the back and everyone's cheering you on. And then your pyro hits and you stand in there. He couldn't even breathe in enough smoke because he might have like died. What are you talking about, dude? Like, no. The ESPN interview was even soft. He looks soft. SAWFT, soft. That's what he looked like.
Oh my gosh, man. So I guess the
oh my God, Goldberg's getting buried.
It's too soft or too soft. That is the question. I guess this man is too soft. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool, but now you guys kind of convinced me that he's kind of a joke.
He is, man, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna lose. He's not. There's no way that they.
Okay, so yeah, what's your prediction on it then?
He's gonna lose. Like that's it. The reason he's gonna lose is because whatever Vince McMahon has planned for Brock Lesnar, you got to look at Brock Lesnar. Since he's been back, he's been a machine. I think he's lost to John Cena once, and he's lost to Triple H once, and he lost to Undertaker, who had to kick him with a low blow just to beat him. And that was like their third match. Like he doesn't lose, and he's not going to lose to, like Tommy said, an old guy that comes back like after 12 years. I mean, it's a cool story. I'll chant Goldberg, but I don't expect him to win. I don't.
I don't think it makes storyline sense for him to win. It's like a guy who 12 years off the couch. He's just like a dad now, wearing his leather jacket, and he comes in and beats your baddest superstar in his first match back with like no warm up. I mean, that would look horrible on Brock Lesnar, dude. That would look so bad, dude. Like Brock Lesnar is a freaking badass. Yeah, he destroyed Cena, destroyed CM Punk, got his revenge on Triple H, beat Undertaker's streak. I mean, then killed Randy Orton, and he's going to lose to Goldberg of all people, and Goldberg's first match in 12 years. That would completely stop all of Brock Lesnar's momentum in its tracks. I think Brock Lesnar has to beat Goldberg whenever they fight.
Oh, wow. Okay. I think damn,
we floored you guys.
Oh my God. You completely buried Goldberg in like any ounce of like excitement for his possible future. I really don't know what's going to happen after SummerSlam. I guess it wouldn't. The only reason why it would make sense to put him and Lesnar in another match, let's say at WrestleMania, is simply for publicity. Mm-hmm. It would just be a publicity match. That's it. But I don't know. I can't really see him. I don't really know who's going to beat Brock Lesnar. I have no idea.
That's the more important question. Who is going to beat Brock Lesnar, and who are you going to want to see beat Brock Lesnar? Like I would want to ask that question. Do you guys have a prediction on that? Like that's just
gosh. I mean, I want to say a stupid name, but I actually want to be legitimate on my answer. I think I honestly would love to see Kevin Owens beat Brock Lesnar. I think if anything, he might be the only guy that stands a good chance of beating him, only because he's super resilient, very ring smart, can take a beating, can give a beating. And I think he may be the only one, and I would buy that story too. Owens has taken out a lot of dudes.
True.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, Finn Balor. Yeah,
I like Brock Lesnar versus Nakamura match in New Japan.
True.
Okay.
Who won?
Yeah, I think Lesnar won. Oh. But the match has happened, so that's kind of cool. So if you did want to see a match between those two, but I could see that too. That was going to be my second choice. Nakamura would be my second choice.
It's got to be a long. it's got to be someone on a long feud and someone who has a long-term future. Like Goldberg doesn't have a long feud and he doesn't have a long-term future with the company. So I don't think that's why I'm so confused. I get how this could be like a one-off, just Survivor Series kind of match, but I'm really curious in how they build up to it because right now I'm not too interested in it.
I want to see it only because I want to see Brock Lesnar beat somebody else up and then say who's next after that. And then after that, I mean, you have to think, like, anyone I can think of has been wrestling for like 15 years or more. I think of Samoa Joe. Whenever he gets his call up, he's going to come in to fight somebody. But they'll probably use him against Big Scrody McBoogerballs, whatever his name is, Braun Strowman. You could do like Glorious Bobby Roode, but then it's like, I mean, Bobby Roode's not that tall, so I don't know. Yeah, that's a hard one.
James Ellsworth.
No.
Ellsworth trusted. No. Oh my God, we're gonna talk about him later on in the episode. Let's take a quick break, real quick.
Let's come back and bash Goldberg some more.
Yeah. That's fun.
We'll come back and we'll talk we'll talk GDP. Actually, we'll just talk about economic stock and the trust bonds that are the IC and US title. Talk about Ziggler. Talk about my gosh, keep wanting to say Rusev, dude, but it's not Rusev. It's Roman Reigns. That is the current US title holder. So if you're listening to the show live, then only you will be hearing this. Because in post-production, I am just going to insert the, whatchamacallit?
Commercial?
The commercial. Yeah, there we go. So, but I'll just do a quick little commercial right here. You're listening to the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. And you can find us on Podbean. All you have to search for is Bros, B-R-O-S, B, the letter B, the number 4, Elbows, and that will pop us up and you'll be able to check out all of our shows. If you go on iTunes, you can actually check out all of the episodes that we've done. And of course, you can always go on YouTube where you can see every episode that we've done as well too. All the way back to episode 1, the pilot episode, which actually was October 4th, 2013, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so the show's been going for quite some time. As I mentioned, this is season 4, so we're going strong, having fun along the way. And I just have to thank every fan, every person who's commented on our show, who has shared our show, who has liked our show, who has talked about our show, and who just has a general interest in pro wrestling. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you very much. Let's jump back in to the ring and talk about this IC and US title. Ziggy's, my man, finally, after a long build-up with The Miz, which I hate The Miz, I really do, but I have to give him credit for how well he built up this storyline. The question here is, are the champs running their respective camps? I think Ziggler is doing a great job because he has the buy-in from the crowd and the passion, and it's only going to take time. Right now, they've given him a few matches. He's still beefing with Miz, obviously, and the Spirit Squad. So we'll see what happens with that. So I would say I think they made a good choice, and I think he is running the IC camp. Roman Reigns, I think they just gave him the U.S. title just to make him a title holder because he once was the freaking WWE champ, and now he's not. So to keep him relevant and still hot on the skillet, throw the man a title. Rusev, I think, should still be the U.S. title holder. That guy is doing a phenomenal job at everything he's doing. So I would say that Roman is not running the camp like a champ. What do you think, Tommy?
On Ziggler, I think the big thing that Miz did, we kicked it off, is when he had that. You guys thought when he had that shoot promo on Daniel Bryan on SmackDown Live, when he completely just completely just ethered poor Daniel Bryan. It was just like, it was so awkward, but it was like so intense, dude. It was like a whole new side of Miz. And I think Miz, he built this foundation for the IC title to make it an important title, starting with that moment when he started beefing with Daniel Bryan. I wish they kind of like dug a little deeper into that and like maybe explored that a little more. But I think that was kind of like the kickoff to to making the IC title relevant on SmackDown. And then having Ziggler and Miz have pretty good chemistry. They always have, dating back to their days on Raw. So I thought that was a good win. That was a good torch pass kind of thing. So I'm curious where they go. But I think Miz was kind of the one who built the IC title where it was. He gave that little prestige, and he kind of he made it respectable because he valued it so much, and he did that Bryant shoot interview. And then for the U.S. title, Roman Reigns and Rusev, I think these guys have great chemistry together, kind of similar to Miz and Ziggler, but they're just two like big young hosses that are just going to be like, these guys are going to be world champions 5 or 10 years down the line, and wouldn't surprise probably any one of us. But having them feud over the U.S. title is kind of cool because these are two big names. It beats the days of Ryback and Kalisto and the other people.
Santino Marella.
Yeah, Santino Marella, U.S. title runs, and yeah, just so at least they have prestige. At least it's guys who can main event a pay-per-view, and Rusev and Roman Reigns. Having them feud over the U.S. title, I think, is a good thing for the U.S. title overall.
Theron, what do you think?
So I'll go ahead and talk first about Zigglypuffs. Ziggler. I mean, he's come up short so many times, and they did this great storyline with him and The Miz, who do have a great chemistry in the ring. That's been going on since, before the brand split. Do I think Ziggler makes the title relevant? I don't know. I'm not sold yet. I have to see what he does. But The Miz definitely did make the title relevant with that Talking Smack segment where he did, in fact, I mean, he made Daniel Bryan walk off of the stage. I think that was Daniel Bryan like saying in his head, like, I'm going to hurt this guy, but I'll also probably like snap my neck in two if I do, so I got to leave. That was a great storyline. That was a great build. Now they tell the story with Ziggler being the guy that steps in for Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan can't fight for himself because, whatever. And Ziggler comes up short, like two or three matches he loses, and then he finally puts his career on the line. Everything on the internet's like, yeah, he wants to like go do his comedy thing and get into like something, I think political TV news host or something, I don't know. And then he wins the match. So the title's relevant because he's feuding with The Miz, and The Miz The Miz is kind of carrying the storyline, and Ziggler's just there. And then you got the Spirit Squad, which I guess that's cool. We missed that whole era. They're doing their thing. So yeah, I guess my thing for the Intercontinental Champ is that The Miz is kind of running that camp, and then for the U.S. title, it's a good storyline between Roman Reigns and Rusev. Whether you like Roman Reigns or not, I mean, he's still popular. He gets boos, he gets cheers. I guess they gave him a title just to keep him kind of relevant, kind of close to the title picture, but not the universal title picture right now. I think they're kind of trying to build him up, maybe similar to like a John Cena. Give him a U.S. title run for a while, and then we'll put him back in the title picture later. Because Vince McMahon obviously feels as though Roman Reigns is his next guy, whether the fans are going to like it or not. So yeah, either Rusev or Roman will be Universal Champion somewhere down the line, or World Champion if they switch brands. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that that'll happen. So as far as who runs that camp, I'd say no. I agree with you, Anthony, that Roman doesn't really run it. He just is carrying a title just to carry a title.
Okay, and that kind of answers the next question too, what the perception of the titles are, strong or weak. And it sounds like we all agree that the titles are looking strong, that they do have some legitimacy and some passion and some heart and some fight behind them. Even though Miz isn't the title holder right now, the champion, he has, as Tommy had said through that passionate interview with SmackDown Live, kind of fueled and ignited the importance of the Intercontinental title. And as far as Rusev, I think what makes that title very strong is that he stays on Raw, and that immediately I thought the U.S. title was the same at the same level of the IC title, just the Raw, version of that second in command. title. So it sounds like they're both very strong, which is good. I don't want to say regardless of who has it, but it does add some legitimacy to who will be the next person to win that title. I think long gone are the days of the Santino Morellas or the Jack Swaggers or the, random freaking, I think R-Truth held the title for a little bit.
He did.
Yeah. And so I think that's kind of gone now. So the US titles blemish of, we don't really know what to do with this thing. Somebody's got to hold it around and haul it around airports. Yeah. Give it to R-Truth. Sure. Whatever. I think long gone are those days. So then my next question would be is, do you think it's the right investment to have Ziggler as the current champ? Do you think it's the right investment to have Roman Reigns as the current US title? Theron, what do you think?
I mean, so I've been on the network a lot, watching a lot of WWE countdowns, and it's funny you asked that question because I'm comparing this to what I remember the US title and the Intercontinental title as in the 90s. If you look at like the greatest factions right now on WWE Countdown, you had the Dangerous Alliance, and the Dangerous Alliance consisted of some of the best wrestlers in the 90s. Rick Rude, beautiful Bobby Eaton, Double A Arn Anderson, stunning Steve Austin. I mean, the list goes on and on. Larry Zbyszko. Rick Rude was the United States champion at the time, right? He feuded with Sting. I mean, this is like blonde-haired Sting. So if I take that storyline, that's what I'm basing my U.S. title relevancy on. If I compare that to Rusev and Roman Reigns, I mean, it's not obviously going to be the same to me because I feel like the Dangerous Alliance and Sting, that was like a great storyline. But this could get there because people love to hate Rusev just because he just bashes America and Americans are prideful. They're not behind Roman Reigns, but it's love-hate, fine. The IC title, on the other hand, then I'm comparing that to like Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels in a ladder match that was the original ladder match that no one talks about. Or you can even do Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Dolph Ziggler versus, I mean, it's a good investment for these new young guys and to build their storyline. It just depends on what WWE does with it. If they recreate storylines like the Dangerous Alliance one, like I just talked about, or that ladder match storyline, I'm with it. I'm cool with it. I think it's good investments. It's better than, like you said, it's better than Santino Marella or Jack Swagger or any of those dudes.
All right. I feel it. Yeah, man. I've always been a big fan of Ziggler. I think a lot of people are. So obviously that's going to be a factor as to why they put the title on him. But he shows a lot of heart and a lot of passion. So I think it's going to take time. As much as we all really hope for and anticipate instant classics, I think some matches and some feuds take time to marinate and take time to, let time pass and then reflect on them and then realize like, oh my God, yeah, I would go back and watch that match and I'd be floored. And maybe that could be like the Miz Ziggler match. If you go back and watch it again, maybe there's things that you see that you didn't see before.
That match was great.
Yeah, he lost his shoe.
Oh yeah, he did lose a shoe.
He got beat with his own shoe, got beat up, and then he delivered super kicks. It was a super kick party. Only the Bucks of Youth were not there.
The Bucks of Youth.
Oh, great.
Or the Days of Youth. So moving forward from that, we're making some good time here on this show, trying to keep things to a format if we can. That way we're not going 2 hours into a show. But
what are you eating, dude?
What was that?
Had sausage and peppers that were trying to make a little cameo in my microphone. So if you have hands, then dreams do come true.
Hey, wait, can I have a question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, totally. Take it.
For that sausage and peppers, what kind of bread did you have? Do you put like a sandwich? You make it into a sandwich? I'm serious.
No, dude, I just ate it out of a bowl.
Are you serious? Oh, but you usually put it in bread, or you just eat it out of a bowl?
No, I just ate it out of a bowl. Liz put sausage, peppers, potatoes, and zucchini.
That's good.
That's good. That's good eats, man. But you usually put it in. Do you ever put in bread though?
No, man.
You never put in bread? Oh God, man, so much better in bread.
What are you doing, bro?
Dude, I've been
living
better
than
my
that
life.
in the cul-de-sac.
I've been living my life as a lie, dude. I haven't been eating bread with it.
It's such good in the sandwich, man.
That sounds
gotta be good. It's gotta be a good bread though. It's like I was gonna judge your bread if you said what kind of bread, but
yeah. Oh, dude, you can't picture like just 2 pieces of white bread.
No, it's got like a good like Kaiser like fresh roll with some seeds on there. Yeah,
hoagie roll, dude.
Oh, hoagie, yeah.
Can't be too hard of bread because if it's too hard, then it's gross.
Yeah.
Hard bread pisses me off.
Some people like hard bread. I never liked that, dude.
If you're a hard bread fan, convince me why you're a hard bread fan. Convince me to turn. I don't think it's possible. Tweet us if you're a hard bread fan.
I'll tweet that out right now, actually. Hey, go to the next topic.
Yeah, I'm gonna tweet us, bro.
So speaking of bread, which has nothing absolutely to do with this next topic, but if you have hands, then dreams do come true. And his name is James Ellsworth. Is this the man that restores sanity in our current circus of a country? Is James Ellsworth the face that we all need to restore this place? Is James Ellsworth the man? Where did he come from? Who the hell is he? And why is this so damn good? Tommy, is this the man that restores sanity in our current circus of a country? James Ellsworth.
This is a man who researches his bread and probably goes with the softer side. This is James Ellsworth. I don't really watch SmackDown because I'm a horrible person. And I don't know what happens on Tuesdays. But just reading on the internet, I don't even know. I'm going to ask more questions and give more answers. I'll ask there. Okay, so how do they introduce James Ellsworth there? And what is he? He's not from NXT because I mean he's not from. It's not like a free agent. I heard them signed from another promotion. Like, where did they find this guy? Like, how'd they introduce him on SmackDown, Theron?
You know how they say? Oh, you know, if he was on Raw, he was a squash match for Braun Strowman. You know that?
Okay, I did not know that. No, I missed that.
Okay. Well, that's where he came from.
Okay,
he was
I didn't
one of
remember
those,
that. I didn't know that.
He was one of those victims. You know, they go in, they interview the guy. Why are you gonna fight Braun Strowman? I think whatever his response was got a big pop. Don't know how he ended up on SmackDown because that's a different brand, but they I want to say he only came out to do the AJ Styles match. If I'm not mistaken, that the 2 matches. I don't think he's been on there before that.
Daniel Bryan brought him out. So Daniel Bryan was the one that said, your opponent is going to be James Ellsworth. So it was Daniel Bryan that brought him into SmackDown, but I didn't remember or even know that he was a squash victim, a jobber for Braun Strowman.
He was it Daniel Bryan or was it AJ Styles saying he had to defend his title? He said he was a fighting champion, and he's like, I'm going to fight someone that's not even on the card. I think Ambrose was mad, or Cena was mad, and he's like, the guy I'm fighting is not even on the card. And then he brings out Ellsworth.
That's right. Okay, you're right.
Loses.
I stand correct.
Yeah, that's how.
How did he lose to? How did Ellsworth beat Styles? Interference, I'm assuming.
Dean Ambrose was a special guest referee, and Styles hit. Have you seen like how Styles hit the Styles Clash and like he almost like Ellsworth
killed Ellsworth. Yeah.
Well, no, Ellsworth almost killed himself because he tucked his head or whatever, and then like Styles recognized it at the last minute, and like I don't know, however he did it, he saved him.
Yeah.
And then Ambrose counted like a slow count, and he counted like the 2, and then he just like went and like looked at the crowd for like 2 minutes, and then when Styles like tried to check him, he hit him with the dirty deeds, and then he covered him with Ellsworth, and then Ellsworth was like unconscious. So that's how that played out.
I'm just wondering. Okay, sorry, and then they had another match. He said he's 2-0 versus AJ Styles. So how's the second match? How'd that happen? Did another guest referee?
No. Ambrose wanted to be the guest referee. So like, I guess because he beat AJ Styles in a non-title match, Daniel Bryan had him on Talking Smack, this Ellsworth guy who has no chin, and said there was going to be another fight for the world title last night. So they had their match. They build it up. Ellsworth has a legit WWE shirt. You can get it on WWEshop.com right now if you want. So they have their match. I guess, Anthony, you said Ellsworth got a super kick. Basically, before the match, Ambrose shows up to talk to Daniel Bryan in the back. He's like in his referee gear. He's like, you can't be the referee, but you can be whatever else you want. You can be the timekeeper. You can be the ring announcer. You can be the bellman. You can do whatever you want. You can be color commentary. So Ambrose does like all of those things. Like he goes out to the ring. He's sitting in the timekeeper chair. Then he introduces the champion challenger. Then he gets out. Then he rings the bell for like 5 minutes and then like pisses off Styles. And then I don't know how the super kick got in. Anthony, how did Ellsworth land the super kick?
So Ellsworth was getting creamed in this match, but Dean Ambrose kept like doing things to distract AJ Styles. He'd cut to commercial. He would say, hey, buy a program. Hey, check out the Titantron. We have James Ellsworth merch available at www.shop.com. He's just doing everything in his power to distract AJ. And somehow, through some magical wind of power, James Ellsworth musters up the power to deliver a pretty decent super kick. And delivers the super kick. AJ goes down. Freaking Ellsworth freaks out, goes for the pin, and it was a close 2.5 count. Dude, the crowd was like, I was literally at the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, is AJ Styles good? They really had me believing that James Ellsworth was going to beat AJ Styles legitimately with a super kick. So James Ellsworth in the match really only gets off like 2 moves. AJ Styles on the turnbuckle yelling at Dean Ambrose. Ellsworth like pulls a leg, and then AJ hits his head against the turnbuckle, and then shortly after that he delivers the super kick. Other than that, he's just getting pummeled, dude. Beaten to the ground. He's getting classic American hog stomped in the corner. Ambrose is egging AJ on like, no, you're not kicking him hard enough. You're not kicking him hard enough. And then soon enough, how Ellsworth wins the match is by DQ, because AJ just has him against the ropes, is beating the crap out of him, and then the ref, does the 5 count, get him off the ropes, and then, it goes to like 6, and then, they throw the match out, and it turns out that James Ellsworth wins the match, which brings me to another thing. So thoughts that this is our actual reality. The sun will rise and set, and James Ellsworth has more wins against AJ Styles than John Cena, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Dean Ambrose.
That's like the best fact I've ever heard, man. That's awesome, dude. I didn't know anything about this dude. He doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, man. He does not even. I was Googling it while you guys were talking. He doesn't have a Wikipedia page, but let's do a little do you know your James Ellsworth segment of the. I'm gonna pull both of you guys some James Ellsworth trivia. Let's get when do you think James Ellsworth made his pro wrestling debut? Theron, what do you think? What year?
2008.
Anthony, what do you think?
2014.
You're both way off. He made his pro wrestling debut in 2002. He's from Maryland. He's from Maryland. Okay, this always
he does have a Maryland accent. He does have a. He likes crabs.
Okay, another question. How old? This always freaks us out. How old do you think James Ellsworth is? Anthony, how old do you think he is?
33.
Theron?
36.
He's actually 31.
Oh,
you guys both went over.
Why does he look like that then?
I don't. It looks pretty. Yeah. Why does he look like that?
One of the announcers called him an 8th grader. He's like, oh my God, he's got the body of an 8th grader.
Yeah, he said he debuted. He debuted on Monday Night Raw on July 25th, and he was gone he didn't come back until October 11th. Like what? What is going? What? Like what? What is?
Wait,
that's so weird.
He was in WWE before.
Yeah,
or is that this year?
This year, July 25th versus Braun Strowman. That was his debut. But it doesn't have anything, even like it. Yeah. Like what was he doing in August and September? Like what was what was he doing?
He probably works at the very last Hollywood Video that's in the country. He's like the only guy, the only employee. He is that company. And when he's not wrestling.
So he's not on the independent circuit, guys, like at all? He's not an independent wrestler?
The only independent wrestling promotions he's wrestled for is American Combat Wrestling and First State Championship Wrestling. I don't never heard of it. I never heard of either of those two things. Yeah, I don't know what those are. Yeah. He's from Maryland. I don't know. I mean, it seems like he does this. Yeah, like he does work at Hollywood Video. He does this on the weekends. I don't get it. Like, where'd they find this guy? Why is he getting such a big push?
So here's the next question. What happens next for James Ellsworth? Is he a flash in the pan, or can they legitimately groom this guy to be a singles competitor?
How can you groom him? Look at him.
Yeah.
He's smaller than the 1-2-3 kid.
I don't know. What if all of a sudden, what if over the next year, right, we start seeing Ellsworth every now and then, right? But each time we see him, he's looking more defined, more cut. You know, what if he actually legitimately turns into be one of the most organic faces of SmackDown Live? Homegrown.
So who do you think it is that likes him?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah.
Who's behind this guy?
I think it's just a goof, to be perfectly honest. I think it's just ribbing. They're ribbing the guy, and it's fine, whatever. It's sports entertainment, but I think it's just a total play on this guy is such a goofball. SmackDown Live can have fun with storylines like this, especially against AJ Styles, to kind of troll him a little bit. But I just think it's like he's kind of the perfect role for this like comedic storyline that they're going with. But I don't think he's legitimately. Who knows, man? Maybe Triple H really loves this guy and he really wants him to be the next world heavyweight champion.
Oh my god.
His catchphrase is "Any man of two hands has a fighting chance." Yeah, dude, his catchphrase.
That's his real catchphrase?
Yeah, that's his catchphrase, man.
He's
got merch.
He does.
I know he has merch.
That's crazy.
How does he have merch? He's only been in WWE for like,
dude.
If you don't count his first run, he's only been on the WWE for like a month. And he's got merch, and he's got no chin.
His third match is against AJ Styles for the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, dude. This guy, he's getting a mega push.
You think he's got a better chance than Goldberg, man?
He does. He does have a better chance than Goldberg.
Oh my God.
He's getting a world title match. John Cena's filming American Grit. Dean Ambrose can't even get another world title shot yet. And then you have James Ellsworth. Like, who is this dude? Why is he so relevant? And why do people like him so much? I don't understand.
Because he's an underdog, man. He's like the ultimate. I mean, it's not even the underdog to the extreme. Like Daniel Bryan was like the ultimate underdog before that, but like this guy even takes it to a new level. I mean, Sami Zayn has run that like underdog card before, but I mean, James Ellsworth is even like the underdog of the underdog, man. And it's like the underdog steps over him to get to where he wants to go.
That's why I think they could they could really groom him to be something special if they wanted to, but who knows?
I think I vote for Flash in the Pan. If we were having a company Bros Before Elbows, I vote for Flash in the Pan, man. I don't think you'll even see him by December. He'll be gone.
I agree with that. I mean, they've let go of people that are, I don't know if they even had more potential. I mean, Cody Rhodes is gone. Ted DiBiase walked away. He's become a Christian minister or something. Mm-hmm. The people that have left the company in recent months. And then you get James Ellsworth. It is a cool story, though. He's only wrestled in two companies we've never heard of. He has no chin. He's the chin. They could get behind the Cinderella story. That could be a cool T-shirt.
The chinless wonder. The no.
And you want, but then it's like, where is his place? Is he really going to be in the main event scene, or is he going to be in like the mid card scene, or is he going to be the comedic relief for SmackDown? Because they don't have.
I think he's perfect. Yeah, they don't really have comedic relief. They're kind of like being a little more serious than Raw. So I think it's kind of like a little breath of fresh air, even if he is a jobber for his rest of the SmackDown.
He could feud with Kurt Hawkins.
Oh my God, what a dork.
He sucks. He carries like a marching band baton around, but still, I don't know. He'd probably make Kurt Hawkins cooler somehow.
Oh my God, what if WWE washes their hands of Ellsworth? They're done with him, and TNA signs him, and on his first match, he pins EC3 and beats Moose and beats Bobby Lashley.
TNA just like it's burning their money, don't they? Do something that stupid.
They're retarded. They're so retarded. If that's what they do, then they should just sell all their stuff to WWE and let them have the videotapes, and then they should just let WWE sign those people you just mentioned, or some of them, maybe not all of them, and then just go away forever. Never come back.
James Ellsworth, the only employee in TNA.
He's the only one wrestling. Who's he wrestling?
His check bounces still.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
dude, he fights himself. He has really bad schizophrenia.
Oh my gosh, he fights. That's a great storyline. Dixie
See what I'm
Carter would
saying,
probably
dude?
like that storyline.
TNA, you should hire me for the last 2 months of your existence.
Is TNA really going away before we end the show, before we wrap up season 4, episode 1?
let's
Is
talk
TNA
about
really
that.
going away? Yes, yeah, talk about that for a couple minutes.
I'll just mention something real quick.
Okay.
And I read this on CagesideSeats.com. Always reading that site. I think it's done after the new year. Personally, Billy Corgan freaking has a lawsuit against him. Dixie Carter doesn't want to lose face. Even though she's already tarnished the brand years ago. I think it's done. As much as I don't want it to be done, I think it's limping along. I think it's lost a lot of blood, and I think it's time that we just take it out back, sing a sweet lullaby, light a candle or two, Chinese lantern or 5, and bury it next to the ferns.
It's kind of sad, man. I think it's just, for as bad as TNA is, and for all the screw ups they've done, they've lasted. I don't know how many years. They lasted over a decade at least, and it gave people in pro wrestling more jobs. It gave like camera crews, producers, directors, wrestlers, merch people, web people. I mean, it gave a ton of people jobs. So that kind of sucks. That's the thing. I mean, it'd be cool to see some of the wrestlers go over to WWE, but not all of them. They don't have enough room for everyone, which sucks too. So wrestlers are going to be out of jobs, and all those people behind the scenes are going to be out of jobs. So that's the thing that comes up with me. But I'm not really too sad to see it go because I haven't watched it in like 2 or 3 years. So not too sad, but
I try to get behind it, man. I've been recording the new episodes, upgraded my TV package to it, and there's just something about it, dude. It just seems so stale.
It's just even when they bring in like guys like Damian Sandow, just because they have that TNA like stink on them, dude. Like right when they get
hard bread, dude.
Yeah, dude. They're hard bread of pro wrestling, dude. It's just like, man, you take a bite into it.
Bread.
Take your bite into it, and it hurts your teeth, man.
Hurts your
like
teeth,
you want
hurts the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, it scratches you, man. It scratches the roof of your mouth. You want to like it, dude. You're hungry. You're hungry for wrestling, but then you're like, what? You're like, it sounds good. It sounds good until you put it in your mouth.
TNA. TNA is actually what got me back into watching wrestling, believe it or not. It wasn't even WWE. It was TNA in 2010 when Hulk Hogan had just signed. That's what they were doing some good stuff then. Hulk Hogan had just signed, and then I think he had just done the double cross, so he had formed Immortal, and then they had Fortune, so they had the fake 4 Horsemen, and they had Immortal. We're like, yo, this is cool. And then Jeff Hardy had his one of the ugliest belts ever, and he was like, his entrance music was awesome. RVD was there, Then things just went downhill from there, Even Mr. Kennedy was there, and it still was bad. And I liked him, or Mr. Anderson. Then the Aces and Eights happened, and that was like the slow rolling, right? So now, like, the state of TNA, I don't know. I mean, a guy who is the current president of the company has filed a lawsuit against the same company. I don't even know how that happens. They're losing money. They can't pay people on time. I think by January they'll unfortunately be done, and it does suck because a lot of people that wash out in WWE, they go on to TNA and they have success. But they're not going to get another look. So let's say it's done in January. You're going to tell me WWE is going to bring back Damian Sandow? They just fired him.
Yeah.
I mean, they might.
No chance, yeah. I doubt it, yeah.
Derek Bateman. I mean, EC3 has evolved. Derek Bateman's evolved into EC3. Great storyline. You think they're going to bring him back? Bobby Lashley, who Cage Side says is a better promo now, but I mean, he still sucks to me in promo.
He's a freaking awful, dude.
Yeah, he's a robot, yeah.
What a mouth breather.
Galloway, I mean, it just sucks for the people that you want to see wrestle. Stories like the Decay, and then you have like the Hardys, like that whole storyline. WWE is probably not going to let them do something like that. They're saying they're going to bring them back. They want to.
They're so rad.
Yeah,
but they're not going to give them that much creative control to do that.
Yeah.
That's all Matt Hardy. That's like his creative. Like he has that creative control. So I think it'll be done by January. The only thing that sucks is you won't have as much wrestling. So we'll see where everyone ends up when it's all said and done. Yeah.
Dang. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But any final words or anything before we wrap up the show?
Waka Flocka Flame for president. Peanut Live 215 on YouTube. Us on YouTube as well. Bros Beef, the number 4. What else? Nah, that's really it, man. What do you guys? What I was gonna ask what do you guys think of the Hell in a Cell main event, like, which is the women's championship match, by the way, as well as the SmackDown Live Women's Championship right now, or the women's storylines right now.
Oh, it's legit. I love it. I love them.
All of it.
All of it, dude. All of it. It's going in the right direction.
Yeah. Really? Okay, let's not get another debate. Let's really final words. I can tell where this is going. I see this another 30 minutes. Matt, yeah, man. Final words. James Ellsworth for president. I don't know. Goldberg sucks. Goldberg sucks.
What? Goldberg sucks. Come on, guy. He's the hero that the kids need while John Cena's away filming American Great.
He's the weird uncle that comes back after 12 years and the kids don't know his name, dude. That's what he is, dude. He's not a superhero to the kids. The kids don't know who is that old guy, dude. He's not
Why are you picking me up on your shoulders? Who is this stranger, mommy? Why are you letting him take me away?
Why does he smell like Takis and Coors Light? Who is this man?
Takis and Coors Light. Okay.
My final words are thanks for listening to the show. Season 4 underway. We've gone live. If you've been checking this out, thank you. Be sure to share the show. Be sure to subscribe to the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast on iTunes. You can check out all previous episodes. And yeah, thanks again for supporting us for all these years. We've been having a lot of fun each time we do it. Keeps my brother and I and Theron connected. Yeah, always has, always will. And for that, I think that's the biggest takeaway. And I'm just glad that we get to do this and share it with everybody. So final words. Thank you.
Elbow drop your friends, people.
Yeah.
Thank you, kind.